It is so amazing to me that the same studio that made Morbius made Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, because whoa. What is up, Cinemaniacs? Welcome back to another movie review. Today, as you can tell by the title, we're taking a look at Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to the 2018 classic Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, as well as the second movie in what could be, arguably, the greatest animated trilogy of all time, seconded only by Kung Fu Panda, if Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse can deliver on an amazing product. And I think they definitely have something amazing here, like quite literally spectacular, because this is peak animation, this is peak fiction, and this is peak comic book storytelling adaptation brought to life in front of your eyes. And this is what cinema and adaptations are all about, taking something that was great before, such as a Spider-Verse storyline and the Miles Morales character arcs, and making it something so much better and more easy to consume. This is an amazing movie. This movie is so great. There are two things that I want to complain about. One, the movie ends. And I don't just mean that as in like, oh, the movie has credits and this and that. No. This is a sequel that has an already planned trilogy. And there is a portion of this film where the movie just ends. Like a brick wall, like a car hitting a brick wall, it just ends. And I wanted to see this play out to the very end. I would have sat through a 4-hour film if I got to see how this film and how this story concluded, because it was that good. And I hated, absolutely hated, that it just ends, because it's so good. I wanted to see the rest of it. The other problem that I had is that it starts off slow and it takes a while to get into the story, but that's also not a terrible thing, because it makes the characters so much stronger for the amount of time that you spend with all these people to see the movie kick off into gear and then see the stakes rise and fall and then finally settle at a 10 out of 10 for suspense. I mean, this film is incredible. Every step of the way, I struggle to find any flaws. Getting into the things that I absolutely loved about this film. I loved the music, and I loved the art, and I loved the cinematography. The music was amazing, with character themes that would completely embrace the character and make a character introduction go from like, oh, that's pretty badass, to holy shit. I mean, it's like the same feeling that you get from Empire Strikes Back with the Imperial March theme. It's something like that encompasses characters so well. The score is just incredible. The animation is also so breathtaking. Like I said, this is peak animation. So amazing. It is that signature style that we saw from Into the Spider-Verse, but amped up to an 11. With some sequences, and this is going into the cinematography that I was talking about, with some sequences looking as though a comic book is literally turning the pages themselves, and you're seeing these characters that you've seen on the panels of a comic book moving and coming to life on their own. And it is just so amazing to see. Like, this is what animation has become. And we're really spoiled as cinemaphiles or as just fans of comic books or anything like that, because with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish coming out in December and then this coming out in June, I mean, this is a great time for animation and a great time to be a Marvel fan as well, or even if you just stan Spider-Man. It's a great time for literally any and all of those things. It is also an amazing achievement to make every single different multiverse and Spider-Verse and Spider-Man from those different multiverses and Spider-Verses, from all those extra dimensions, right? They all have their own style, their own art style, their own flair, their own personality, their own character. And I'm not just talking about the individual Spider person. I'm talking about the world that they are from. They have their own thing going on, and they keep that throughout the entire film. So you can see Spider-Punk in the way that he's depicted, and like his style, his art style that he's got going on. It's super chaotic, whatever. But then you have Miles Morales and how he looks more realistic and more down to earth, right? But then they are on screen together, and you get this clash of this chaotic style from Spider-Punk mixing with this realistic and grounded approach of portraying Miles Morales. And it is just so creative and just amazing. I really do struggle to come up with the words to describe just how incredibly impressive and thrilled I am that this has been done for these characters, as well as how amazing I think that this animation studio has really proved themselves in their passion for this project in particular. Obviously, this is an easy rating of a best movie ever. Go out and see it, all right? You don't need to know the critical rating. You really don't need to sit through any more of this. Go out and see this movie. You will have tons of fun, and the only problems that you might have is that the movie just ends. I don't have any other nitpicks or any other problems. This is the best movie ever. Easy rating. If you want to stick around for the critical score, feel free to stick around. I will most definitely talk to you about it and give you my rating and why I have that rating. So if you don't know, critically, I rate films on a 10-point scale based on 6 different categories, those being the cinematic aspect, the characters, conflict, dialogue, plot, and suspense. That is 6 different things. I add up all those scores and find the average to get the final total score out of 10. I don't use decimals because decimals are weird. Going down that list, cinematic was a 10 out of 10. The art and the music are just perfect. The characters are also a 10. Everybody here serves a purpose. There is no wasted person, and everybody is so lovable and just fits. Conflict is a 10 out of 10. The struggle against the Spot, the struggle against Miles, the struggle against Miguel O'Hara, the struggle against Miles Morales and the Spider Society, and everything that's all the conflicts that are here. So good, so creative, loved it. Dialogue was an 8. There's nothing super special here, right? There's no like super memorable lines that you're going to be spouting off to each other, right? It is an incredibly solid and very, very good dialogue. Plot is also an 8, and I only gave it an 8 instead of a 10 because it is not done. This plot score is entirely reliant on the success of the next film. I just don't enjoy the cliffhanger ending because this film cannot be rated entirely by itself because it is so reliant on the success of the next film. For suspense, I gave this a 9 out of 10 because the film starts off kind of slow. It doesn't get into the plot and the action. The stakes don't rise until about 30 minutes into the film. And so I can see people kind of like going like, okay, but like, when does the story start? And so until then, it's like low stakes and you just kind of learn a lot of exposition and you start to really get into the feel of the characters. And it feels much more of like a slice of life film rather than like a big epic multiversal adventure film with Spider-Man fighting Spider-Man and all these other cool things going on. But whenever it starts, all the way up here, I'm talking to the max, right? Off the screen. That's where it sits for a solid 3/4 of this film. 3/4 of this film up here. Averaging all those scores, this film is an easy best movie ever. 9 out of 10. Go and see. I've already said it. Go and see this movie. If you haven't, what are you doing? Because this is great. Everybody, this is gonna be something that everybody should see. Everybody should talk about. And I feel like it's just going to be like Into the Spider-Verse where everybody just accepts this is what animation should look like. This is the standard for a good animated movie. And if it dips below this, then well, it's mid. I could see other people rating this film maybe an 8 or a 10 depending on your knowledge of the comics, as there is so many Spider-Men on screen, sometimes hundreds of Spider-Men on screen at any given time. But they all have like little tiny bubbles. Those text bubbles are there for almost every single Spider-Man that you see, including things like the inclusion of the Insomniac Spider-Man, where it literally says Insomniac Spider-Man from PS4. This is like an Easter egg lover's wet dream because there's so much to go through and so much to skim through. Go see this movie, buy the disc, instant classic in my eyes, best movie ever, 9 out of 10. If you have seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, what did you think of it? I'm sure you have high opinions. Please don't be afraid to share those ideas and thoughts down in the comments below. If you have not seen this movie, what stops you from seeing this movie? Do you just hate cinema, or like what's going on here? Because this is the movie that you have to go see in theaters. Support the great products, and we can question like the bad ones. But this is one that I definitely recommend you going and supporting, going out to see in theaters, because it is also a good theatrical experience. That is going to be it for my review of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that you also enjoy the movie if you decide to go out and see it. Like I said, if there's anything you want to talk about the movie, down in the comments below, please don't be afraid to do that. And also like, share, and subscribe. Do all those YouTube things that everybody asks you to do anyways. And I will see you in the next movie review. Peace!